Hello friends, welcome to today's video. Today's video is a Peloton video, but I'm not in my exercise corner. I am here in my bedroom and in my PJs because I want to tell you about my experience doing the Peloton Power of Sleep program. This is a 2-week meditation program to help improve your sleep. I'm going to give you my review of that and talk about my experience, and I'm also going to touch briefly on my thoughts on the new Peloton program setup. So I'll talk about that towards the end of the video. I have done a number of Peloton reviews of different programs, my experience with the bike, my experience with different instructors. I will link all of those down below, as well as my Peloton playlist. And if you like Peloton reviews and you want to see when I post more of these, then please consider subscribing. One of the reasons I decided to start doing this program is I realized a number of months ago that my sleep patterns were getting really bad. Part of this had to do with working from home. I no longer had to get up in the morning and commute. So while it used to be, pre-quarantine, I would get up in the morning. Some mornings I'd even get up at 5, go to the gym for an hour, get ready. I would have to take transit to my job. I didn't need to do that anymore. So even though I moved up the start time of my job to start at 7 a.m., I still only had to roll out of bed and, walk into the other room to be able to start working. And I was really pushing back how long I was taking to wake up and also pushing back how long I was falling asleep. And I was starting to do, I think, what a lot of us have been doing lately. I know I've heard it referred to as like doom scrolling, but I was just on social media and just watching way too much TikTok. I don't know how I became addicted to that. And I'll tell you the smart thing that TikTok does to get you addicted to it is you don't have to click on the next video to start it. You just have to scroll. Anyway, I just found that I was staying up later and later. My sleep was getting really bad, and I thought this is a good time to try to implement a new bedtime routine to get my sleep back on track. Staying up later was not only bad for my sleep and my attention span the next day, I tended to get into worse habits of late night snacking when I stay up late and just not feeling well overall. And just to mention here a couple of other things I did in addition to this program to try to help with my sleep schedule. I did end up making a rule for myself that I could only watch TV or YouTube in the other room. Prior, I would sometimes bring my laptop in here and watch videos to fall asleep, but it was just keeping me up longer. And I also set up limits on my phone so that certain apps shut down at 10:30, and I had to keep asking them to turn back on again if I wanted to keep using them. Going into this program, I had no background in meditation. I've maybe tried it a couple of times, and I've even read an entire book on the positive benefits of meditation, but I've never really meditated. The program itself is 2 weeks of a sleep meditation every night. It starts out at 5 minutes per meditation, and it's only in the second week that it gets into some 10-minute meditations, and then the very last day of the 2 weeks is a 15-minute meditation. In the intro to the program, they do mention that you can either do this sitting up as you would normally do meditation or lying down. I did this entirely lying down because I wanted it to be something where if I was drifting off, I could go right into sleep. They wouldn't have to move or do anything afterwards. To me, that made more sense in terms of clearing my mind and then not moving around and doing things and sort of undoing what I had done. However, I do understand that I am single, I am living by myself, and I am able to lie in bed and have something on audio on my phone, and it's not going to be disturbing anybody else. So depending on if it's your schedule, I personally would suggest, and I think they do as well in the program, doing this as close to falling asleep as you can. And I do think that if you can do it in bed just right before falling asleep, it would seem to be the best way to do it. In terms of this helping me get to bed at a better time, before I get into the actual meditations themselves, I did find it strange that some nights I still had very much a resistance to starting the meditation because I knew if I started the meditation, then I would be falling asleep. And something that happens to me when I'm feeling stressed is I end up staying up later at night because it feels like I'm giving myself more time to myself. Whereas if I fall asleep, then when I wake up, it's time for my day and work and everything to start all over again. So I did find that some nights I had resistance to starting the meditation because I knew it was going to lead me to sleep. So there's this part of my brain that even though I know it's the right thing to do, will still resist it. Let's talk about the classes themselves. It's interesting in the meditation, and really the only meditation program or classes I have done on Peloton has been this sleep program. In the cycling programs or the strength programs, I find the personality of the person doing the meditation really makes a big difference. Like, you guys probably know if you're watching my channel, I'm trying out different instructors. I really find different ones have different vibes. I didn't find I had any preference one way or the other, or really even noticed who was doing the sleep meditations. Now, I am sure that the instructors are chosen because they have a background in meditation. I'm sure they script this all themselves. So they do have different preferences, different ways of doing it. But I didn't find I had any preference, and I actually had to go and look up before doing this video how many different instructors were actually doing it. Like, I know male and female voices I could tell apart, but otherwise it all just became I don't want to say background noise because I was paying attention, but it didn't matter to me who the instructor was. And I think part of this as well is it is videos, there is video meditation, but I always did this lying down with my eyes closed. So I wasn't looking at the person, I was just hearing their voice. I found the biggest benefit of this program overall is I felt like it gave me a really good sampler of different meditation styles to see what I liked and what I didn't. And going into this, I didn't really know there would be different sleep meditation styles, but there definitely is. There were some meditations that very much focused on just your breathing. There were some that did what they called a body scan, where you think about the different parts of your body and purposely think about relaxing them. There was one meditation that used a mantra as well as the breathing. There were a few meditations, especially later on in the program, that were more about visualization. And there were some that were very much about sort of like unpacking your day and taking those thoughts out of your mind. And different things to do in different ways. Some were very much about yourself and the day that you had, and others were just about your body and the breathing. And interestingly, I did end up finding there were ones that I really enjoyed and some that maybe weren't for me. I think there was one meditation that I liked that was about unpacking the day, or like putting away your day, because it was pretty vague. It was talking about taking all the people you had met or interacted with that day, and taking all of that and thinking about all of it, and then visualizing all of that going into like a crystal or a box, I kind of forget which one it was, and then putting that aside, and then thinking about all the places you had been for the day, and then taking all of that, thinking your way through it, and then putting it into a box and putting it aside. And that one I found was fine, but sometimes I didn't really like the daily ones, because if I had had a stressful day, thinking about the things that had happened during the day, even though it was supposed to be sort of like, you know, sealing them up, being done with it, putting them aside and moving on to sleep, it got me rethinking about the things that were stressing me out during the day, and that wasn't as relaxing to me. I really find that I liked the ones that were focused on breathing and focused on body scan. Like, if there was one that went very much through the different parts of your body, mentioning it and getting you to relax and sort of giving you visualizations about your breathing in and out, that really got me to a relaxed place where I was pretty much out by the time it was over. Now, after saying that, I actually went and looked at the Peloton meditations just before doing this video, because I thought, okay, now that I have this whole like sampler of these sleep meditations and I know which kind I like, I can look for the kind that I like. But I actually found when I went in and filtered by sleep and relaxation, the tagline for all of them was the same. It just said something along the lines of, this is a meditation to help calm and relax you and get you to sleep. But nowhere in it did it say, this is a body scan meditation, this is a breathing and mantra focused meditation, or this is a visualization, which the descriptions of the individual classes within the program did that. So as a suggestion, nobody from Peloton is watching this, I'm sure, but it would be great if the descriptions for any sleep meditation just gave you a very broad stroke of what kind you were getting yourself into. I will say though that because, you know, I'm sure if I worked my way through a bunch of sleep meditations and found, you know, 10 of them that I really liked, I would probably just keep repeating those ones, because it's not like you need a lot of novelty in a sleep meditation. Next, I want to mention maybe the biggest thing, did this actually help with my sleep? Yes, it did. There were so many nights where I thought like my brain is awake, I'm not ready for sleep. And even a 5-minute meditation, I was asleep within a few minutes afterwards. I think so often there's so much going through my mind, I don't realize how tired I am. And then when I get that chance to calm myself down, do some deep breathing, relax myself, and not be thinking about everything else going on in my head, I am tired and I do fall asleep. This is a little bit of an aside, but when I was young, not like super young, because when you're super young, you always hate bedtime. But when I was more of a young adult, I actually never really minded going to bed because it gave me time to sort of think through different like fun scenarios in my head. I don't know why I said it like that, scenarios. That's how I would normally say it. So for example, it used to be I would think about, traveling around the world, or I don't know, like winning the lottery and what I would do with that, and different made up things, really like fun and relaxing. And, there was nothing distracted me from just having these, I want to call them daydreams, but like, just visualizations and fantasies that made me happy and relaxed, and then I would fall asleep. But over the last number of years, because I'm using technology more, I tend to watch TV as I fall asleep or be on my phone. And I got out of that mindset of, having a really happy, calming scenario to think about and just fall asleep naturally. And I found after I finished doing these sleep meditations, if I wasn't fully asleep yet, I was sort of relaxed and not moving around, and I was having sort of these happy thoughts. Lately, it's been, this daydream of me, living on a farm with a bunch of animals on a lake and just everything calming and having my friends around. And that would lead me into sleep pretty quickly. I will continue doing these sleep meditations, and I would recommend trying this even if you have no background in meditation at all. I'm not going to do one of these every night, but if I have a night where I think, okay, it's time for me to go to sleep and I don't feel like I'm ready to go to sleep yet, this will really help. If I'm totally tired and I know as soon as my head hits the pillow I'm out, I'm not going to bother. Or maybe I'm in more of the mood to read a book until I fall asleep. That's okay too. But I do think these will become part of my routine for getting myself to bed by a good time. Now let's briefly talk about the new Peloton programs, because it used to be all the programs that they had, you would open it up and it would sort of tell you like when to do them, but you had access to all of the classes that were within that program. They've now made it where you start the program and you don't unlock the next class until you finish the first one. So you do have to follow along in order. I actually don't have a problem with that. If the class is made to be done like in a certain order, that kind of makes sense. It was a little frustrating because I was 3 days into starting this meditation program when they started that, and then I had to go back to the beginning again. Not that big of a deal with meditation, but it would have been a little frustrating if I was like 3 days into like the total strength program, or like 2 weeks into the total strength program, and I had to go back to the start to be able to access the classes. What I don't love so much is they've almost put like a time limit on it now. So when I was doing these meditations, like yes, it's supposed to be a 2-week program, but there were some nights where I was just tired and I fell asleep. And then a week and a half into the program, which was 2 weeks, I guess, into starting it, it said your program is completed. You got a bronze because I didn't finish all the classes in that time. And I had to really muck around to figure out how to get back to the classes. And you can do it if you go to your completed programs and then to view program. And then I could click specifically into the class that I hadn't done yet, but it was a lot of messing around to get back to it again. And I feel like you are adding an undue level of stress to any of these programs, but particularly a program that's supposed to be for meditation. Like I shouldn't be rushing to make sure I'm doing them every night. Like life happens and it's meditation. Don't make it stressful. I really wish what they had done with these programs was fine, still do the like, you don't get the next one unlocked until you do this one. And I could even say, like, if they want to do badges for it, then fine, do it where, if you complete the program, say it's a 2-week program. Well, if you complete it within maybe 14 to 16 days, you get a gold. If you complete it, within 3 weeks, you get a silver. But don't like shut it down when you don't do it within their time frame. I think that's just adding a level of frustration. And because I think we shouldn't be doing all or nothing thinking. Like if I start doing the total strength program and I fall off of it for like 5 days, don't penalize me for that because I'm less likely to start doing it again. And I think that that's just not great. So my takeaway for this is, even if you have never tried meditation, or if you have tried meditation, I would go ahead and do the Power of Sleep program. I think, especially in the world that we are currently in, any opportunity to quiet your mind, bring your focus inwards, and really get a good night's sleep is just super, super helpful. And I really did enjoy them, and I'll continue to do them. I would love to hear if you have done this, program, what your thoughts were on it. If you are somebody who has done some sort of sleep meditation, that is outside of the Peloton program and perhaps free, leave that down below so that other people can hear about it. And if you are a Peloton person, I would love to hear your thoughts on the programs and have you been working your way through them and what your thoughts are. Leave all of that in the comments down below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, as I mentioned earlier, please consider doing so. I will put some of my other Peloton videos here if you wish to click and watch one of the others. And thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.